and I had days and I'd pass out vomiting. My esophagus tore.
I was dying in pain. I was with nerve injury. I was in painkillers.
You might think this is another real estate video. It's not. This is a video about real people who have been on the floor in so much pain that we had days that we didn't think we would be here with you right now. So my name's Quay, and this is Angie, and this is an episode of On the Floor. Angie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Nick, for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here.
So let's talk a little bit about how we met. I know that we're both realtors in different parts of Florida. She's in Bonita Springs, I'm in Miami. But that's not what this is about. We met through Instagram and then got to meet in person for the first time at a conference. Mm-hmm. And we share a very similar story where we've dealt with misdiagnosis and chasing symptoms and diseases and different things in our lives. And we both found real estate as a solution to our problem, not being able to be on our feet, to go to work. I was in restaurants. She's going to share with us what she did before. And we both found these similarities where we had to recreate ourselves in a way that if we were sick or in the hospital or couldn't get out of bed that day, that we would still have our career and still be able to serve others. So Angie, tell us a little bit about how we got here today. How did we meet? We'll fill everybody in at home.
We first met for social media, and I came to Miami for a real broker event. I remember that at that time I was using the cane because I was going through the healing journey from a hip replacement that go not good because I was with nerve injury, and so being in real estate helped me to stay at home when I need to, working from home, and go outside when I feel that I'm okay. And the people in real motivate me to go outside, and I was dying in pain. I was with nerve injury. I was in painkillers. So even though we traveled from Bonita Springs to Miami, I stayed the night because the day before we were having the TED Talk with Sjögren. But yeah, I feel that that's kind of the feeling that real broker gave me in being in real estate too. Because before that, I was hairstylist, and I was working for many, many hours standing on my feet, and my health wasn't helping me in that moment. So I switched careers, and I'm really happy that I did it.
And so something you just mentioned was about that suffering in silence. That's been a big thing for us, for a lot of people that have dealt with stuff like this. Tell us a little bit about that for you. Like you came all the way from Bonita Springs in the car, sitting down right after a hip replacement that didn't go well. And we're going to get more into an autoimmune disease that she's dealing with in a little bit here. But you're at the event, you're meeting us all for the first time. We have the president, the CEO, the founder, the whole C-level, and a lot of the big top producers and all these, Instagram and great agents that pour into each other. And you showed up with a smile on your face with this great energy and significant amount of pain. Like from a pain scale of 1 to 10, how much pain were you in? And what was that like for you having to show up? And where did you get the strength? I know that's a multi-part question, but I'm curious.
Yeah, and pain of level, I will say that even though I was with painkillers, I was in maybe 8. So it was pretty difficult to me to walk, even with the walker, because I was with my laptop on my backpack, and I was like, okay, I gotta do this no matter what. That was the very first day that I was going out of my house since the surgery. So I said, if I don't do this right now, I don't know when I will get out of the floor. So I'm pretty happy that I don't know if it's discipline, motivation, or don't know what exactly, but the pain was there. It was invisible. People were noticing that I was dealing with something because I was with a cane, but nobody else knows the amount of pain that I was dealing. I remember Sharon, I was saying goodbye to him. He took me by the shoulders and he looked at me directly in my eyes, and he said, Angie, take care of yourself. somehow I feel that he noticed that I was there, but pain was invisible for everybody else. But I feel like Sharon really feels the pain that I was dealing that day, and I stayed the whole day there with a smile, and I was super motivated. I mean, I was meeting you, meeting a lot of amazing people, learning a lot of marketing and stuff. So that day, my life changed.
It really hits me when you say that, because Sharon's the kind of guy that's just tuned in. There's a lot of different people we meet in our walk of life and in this industry, and being surrounded by such good people who sometimes they really see you. Like, they see through the eyes, into your soul, into the depth of who you are. And they might not know exactly where you're at, but they know that there's something bigger either in you, that light, or something that is covering your light a little bit that's causing us that invisible pain. And Sharon's been one of those people in my life as well. So talking about that, right? We met there at the event, and a lot of knowledge that day, a lot of relationships started, which is what this is about. You know, I'll kind of share my story first. I got into real estate because I was a chef. I don't know if you knew that. So if you follow my Instagram and you look at my stories, I cook a lot. And what I don't talk about enough is what I'm going to share now. I have what I call allergies. I am actually allergic to cow's milk, specifically cow's milk, probably yak, probably buffalo. I'm too afraid to try it. When I have cow's milk, I can get anaphylaxis. I could turn purple, I get the hives, I could stop breathing and end up in the hospital really quickly. The other things that I don't eat because they make me violently ill. So when I talk about my allergies, not a picky eater, but if it will make me sick or put me on the floor or cause GI spasms where my esophagus, my stomach, and my intestines, it felt like there was somebody deep inside me squeezing and shaking me from the inside, like punching my esophagus, punching my stomach, punching my intestines. That hurt. And pain level 8 to 10, the pain was so bad that I passed out many times on the floor in my bathroom. And so the reason I'm sharing this is because it's something I don't talk about enough. And I think that's what this is about. This is a safe space for us to talk and to share with you, because if you're on the floor right now, whether it's physically on the floor, mentally or emotionally on the floor, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that are there right now in your position, and a lot of people that have been there that are here to help you. And our whole purpose of this is to share because we want to inspire you. And we want to show you that as dark as stuff gets, as scary as it gets, misdiagnosis or scary diagnosis, the sun will come out. And it could wake up to a storm tomorrow, but eventually the cloud's going to part, the rain's going to pass, the storm's going to quiet, and that sun is going to come out. And when you're able to make decisions sometimes a little bit different, and you decide to let that light, it could be God's light, it could be whatever you believe in, that spirit, that day that you're sick of being sick, and you're just tired of being tired, that light will start to grow, that fire will start to burn inside you. And what I've done, and the reason this is all happening, is because of that, where 18 years ago is when I got sick. 15 years ago is when I started to get a handle on it. And probably 10, 12 years ago is when I knew I had something bigger to do. And that fire's been burning so heavy inside me. And that light radiating, which is how we connected. And Danielle Zampino, Simon, that's here with us right now, my friend Rajni, all these other people that have been there on the floor, sometimes worse situations than I've been. It's me allowing that light to shine. So that's what our hope is here today, is that we can spread some of that light for you. So speaking about that, I think a little bit about that part. Do you want to talk about what the floor looks like for you on your worst day, that worst experience you've had? You want to tell us what that feels like or looks like?
It started on November 6th when I needed to put down my elder English bulldog. He were living for 10 years and a half, and he were dealing with probably liver cancer. It was a tough decision to do because he were my best friend. After that, I scheduled the appointment for the hip replacement, and that hip replacement was on December 4th, and it didn't come through like it was supposed to. And I get nerve injury. I stayed at the hospital for 6 days. I was passing out in pain. I was in morphine. I got longer. My leg stretches for inch and a half, so my physical therapy was a nightmare because I couldn't stand up normally, and the pain on the caused by the nerve injury was I got foot drop, which means that I wasn't feeling my leg entirely. It was like blocked, so for a week, so it was really tough.
You were preparing for the surgery and they had you on morphine before, or that was during the surgical prep they had? Because morphine is like, that's heavy. I mean, that's surgical stuff. So tell me a little bit about that.
In the hospital, yeah, for the 6 days that I was there, because the opioids they were giving to me, they doubled the doses. But at that time, we didn't knew that I was dealing with an autoimmune disease, which were making me feel more and more pain than it's supposed to have in its surgery. So my body, instead of helping me, it was causing me more problems, more pain, and it was making me sick. I find out that after the second hip replacement on April 30th. It's recently. So this autoimmune disease is causing me joint pain, muscle pain, fatigue, migraine attacks, dry mouth, dry eyes, dry nose. I even have a bleeding nose when I go to Phoenix because of dryness, and many other symptoms. So I'm on treatment, and that treatment will be helping me after 6 months. It starts a long time ago on 2022 when I got diagnosed for osteonecrosis, which means the femoral head was empty, die, and dry. So I was having 2 surgeries 2022 for a hip repair because they wanted to avoid a hip replacement because I was too young for that.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much with this, right? And too young for hip replacement, but the head of the bone is dying and decaying. So you have to do it. So what was something that you were able to do or believe in or tell yourself, or a relationship or something that helped you find the strength to even get out of bed and to go on with that?
Honestly, you never know how long you're gonna live. So when I find out that I was too young to deal with all those things that I was dealing, I decided to live my life not in a way that I feel that I'm gonna die tomorrow, but knowing that it's one day less, no one day more. That gave me the strength that start my business, my career. And even though I was in another country, I was going to learn in another language. I came here and I've been living in the States for 2 years, and it was a total challenge to learn so many things in another language, and then even the real estate lingo is hard to. So that gave me the strength to feel that I need to live what I want to live right now and not wait until I have a worse situation. It always could be worse, so I'm grateful that I'm not having something worse than this, but embrace the suck.
Yeah, it does suck. And I'm really sorry that you're dealing with that. It's so hard when we're dealing with things to find the light sometimes. For myself, it was very hard. The on the floor is because the cold tile was my comfort zone in the bathroom. And in the bathroom, because I was in so much pain that I physically couldn't get out of bed and make it the 20 feet to the bathroom. And I would basically what they call the double dragon, projectile vomiting from one side and imagine the rest, right? And could come out of nowhere. And in my sleep, I could be sleeping and I'd have to sleep on my side, but I was in so much pain that I couldn't because just the way my body is. I don't know. I'd sleep upright because I was afraid if I was on my back that I would basically vomit in my sleep and die. Because you vomiting while you're sleeping and you can't wake up, and then you inhale the vomit and you just choke. So I remember that my parents were so supportive and loving. I love them. So love you guys. He had said, "Son, why don't you just come home?" And I had a fear. Never talked about this. The biggest fear that I had is that I was going to go home, I was going to vomit in my sleep and die, and that my mom would come in the morning to go wake me up to see how I was feeling, to bring me some breakfast, and then I would be dead in the bed. The thought of my family finally. Very soon after that is when I had what you call it. I told you it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's what you call a defining moment because I allowed it to be. At the time, I didn't know any of the stuff that I talk about today. When I'm sharing this with you on the floor is because that was my dark days. I was never suicidal, but I had days that I was like, God, what's going on, dude? Am I supposed to be here? Like, am I supposed to be here, God? Is this really? Am I supposed to feel like this? Is anyone supposed to feel like this? Didn't make sense at the time. Now it does. Didn't make sense at the time. And I had days that I would pass out vomiting. My esophagus tore. There'd be blood coming up, and I'd wake up with blood and vomit because even in the bathroom, I didn't even physically have the strength. I lost 25% of my body weight from 215 pounds to 161 pounds. I'm like 190 something right now, right? And I still look skinny at 190, 161. You see my ribs, you see my spine. It was scary. And I didn't have any words to describe what was happening to me because the doctors didn't have any words. It was a misdiagnosis from Crohn's, colitis, every GI thing in the world, even some rare intestinal cancer, which I don't have. The reason I'm sharing this, I had this fear of, not a fear of death. I never had a fear of dying. I wondered, am I supposed to die? When's it going to happen? Why in the world is this still happening to me? And the fear was for my family to find me. That was heavy. The reason I'm sharing this is I woke up one day, 3:30 in the morning, on my floor. I always had a pillow for my head and a towel that I would wrap up for my head and one for my top of my body because the towel was comforting. My friend Danielle, other people that have dealt with this, that the towel brings comfort. It's this coldness. When your body's heating up, you're violently ill, there's all these things happening to your body, you get a lot of heat, and there's zero comfort. But the tile floor, for some reason, was there for me. Anyway, 3:30 in the morning, I decided I was tired of being tired. I was pissed off. I was sick of being sick. So I think I remember I leaned over, put the lid down, propped myself up, grabbed the sink, stood up, and I looked myself in the eye. My eyes were all sunken in. They were bloodshot because I had been vomiting, and I probably bursted a blood vessel in my eye because it was all the straining. And I was in so much pain. My voice didn't sound like this. You wouldn't have recognized who I was as a person. You definitely wouldn't have recognized my voice. And I looked myself in the eyes in the mirror. Didn't recognize myself. And I was kind of like, dude, this sucks. But you fucking got this. And then I just kind of like did this thing where I pounded my fucking hand and I was like, fuck this. And then I just decided to just push through the pain, as hard as it was. Going out to restaurants, not knowing when I was going to have to leave, not knowing when I was going to throw up. I would hide in the back of the restaurant in my car, vomit out the side of my car, and just hope that nobody saw me. That was my floor, was that in those moments, many of them, but that's what my floor was like. And so I think that we can all identify with this. Have you had a moment like that where you've just had to force yourself to find the strength either from within or from something else to give you, because you're here, you drove all the way from Bonita Springs in a car, and we're sitting here, I know it can't be comfortable. Did you have a day or a moment where you just had to say, I got this?
Before the last hip replacement, because I needed to get even legs, so in order to do that, I were needing to go through the same thing that they did last surgery. So I knew that I was the possibility to have the nerve injury again and the foot drop and all the morphine. And foot drop is your leg is not working, it's like blocked, you don't have control of it, you cannot even feel it. I was so scared of doing this surgery, but I were needing it. And I was it was so tough to me to schedule that appointment for the surgery, because finally I was starting to feel good after 4 months. The hip replacement of the left hip was on December. That was the one with the nerve injury. But in order to get the both legs at the same length, I was need to go through the same process. Fortunately, I was telling my husband, I wish I could have the surgery and have no nerve injury, no foot drop, and get out of the hospital on the next day. And I were like, I know that this scenario is too ambitious because they're gonna do the same thing, and it happened. It happened. So yeah, I stayed at the hospital just for one day. I was walking, doing PT the same day, going back home, and it feels marvelous because I was picturing that as if it's an area that it wasn't possible for me, because I cry a lot because um, medication and side effects were putting me on the spot that I didn't want it to be. Um, they call it chemical depression, and I was like you, looking at me at the mirror, and I were like, this is not me. I've been dealing with a lot of things in my entire life, and I always can. I embrace it, and I said, okay, let's get rid of this. And I'm still healing the hip replacement from April. Actually, this morning it was a whole struggle to get out of bed, because it's a lot of pain, and I was feeling fatigue, and I need to use a heating pad in order to warm my muscles to be able to get up and stand up. But yeah, here we are, and this is what we're looking for, people to see this, just inspire you. We know that you guys are not alone, and it's hard, but we can, always can. No more on the floor.
Thank you for sharing the story. Told you I get a little emotional.
Yeah. And actually,
What
wanted to say,
tell
I'm
me.
so sorry that you were dealing with all of those things. I was in tears with you. You're so strong. You're a warrior. And you're a whole inspiration for many of us. You can. You always can.
Thank you. Now I'm really gonna lose it. Something that I learned a while ago, and I was with a brother of mine. I have a sister, Leah, I love you, but you know what I'm talking about. My two best friends from college, the only two guys that stayed by my side through this. Kevin, who's now passed away. Love you, bro. Had heart problems since he was a baby. And when Giovanni and I met Kevin's like, hey, don't fall in love with me too much. Because he didn't think he was going to graduate college. Didn't think he was going to make it 6 weeks to 6 months to a year to 5 years to 10 years, because he had these heart issues since he was a baby. When we met him, we knew that he might not graduate college. Well, Kevin, I love you, dude, beat me to 40, beat me to marriage, and beat me to having a child. And the biggest blessing out of this is Kevin's no longer with us. We get to share his stories. We get to share the stories of triumph. And we get to share, now I get to share Denise, his wife, and his son, Caden. Sitting with Giovanni and Kevin, the three of us, Giovanni was dealing with some very heavy things in his life and his family as well, some illnesses in the family. Mid-conversation, stops us. And he goes, brothers, big Cuban guy, right? Brothers. We're like, what? He goes, I have to share this with you. And he looks us both in the eye, and he says, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. He looks at us again and he goes, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. He goes, and you, my brothers, are warriors, the strongest warriors I know. There's a lot that you can get from this. And what I learned as a child with my dad as a combat veteran in Vietnam, 24-year Army colonel, said I was a warrior. But here's the beautiful part. Years later, which is why this is happening now, I realized that I'm a warrior, but I'm also a healer. And my superpower is like this, connecting with people, having them feel heard, seen, being there, connecting, empathy, compassion, that I only learned because of the illness, only learned because of my suffering, only learned because I was on the floor, and only learned because I had days that I thought too that I was gonna die, and that I was okay with it at that point. And what I learned from Giovanni and from Kevin and from life now, no matter how bad it gets, except the sun will come out. But that is, you need to create that warrior spirit, that energy, that strength, wherever you get it from. Now, my biggest strength, what I fight for, is to help others heal. Even in real estate, I help people. I change their lives. On the darkest days of their life, I'm the one that they call. I'm the one they come to. There hasn't been a more perfect person than me to do this, because I'm here right now. And I can smile and I can share with her and with all of you. I was supposed to be here. Did I have to suffer the exact time that I did? I don't know. But I wouldn't be who I am right now if I hadn't. So when you have those moments that you can embrace, and it took me years, it wasn't right away. It wasn't when I was on the floor. I didn't have this then. I lost my shine. I lost a lot of things. I lost my way. I felt lost for years. But when you're able to find that strength, be a warrior for someone else. It makes you a healer. When you're a healer, you can heal yourself. And when you're a blessing to others, more blessings will come back to you eventually. If you believe in karma, if you believe in God, whatever you believe in, it's there. And being a blessing to others creates more blessings in your life, even on your darkest days, just like this. And that's the one thing I could tell you. And so you as well, Angie, I could see it. You had this beautiful radiant light inside you. The second I saw you, I knew it. And you, my dear, are going to be an amazing healer. And you're going to be able to help yourself, and you'll be able to inspire a lot of other people. That's one of the beautiful things about this. And so from all that, from all your experience, from your journey, even where you're at right now, still dealing with this, even today, you woke up in pain, had a hard time even going over here. What something that you learned, like my experience, what's something that you can leave people with that gives you strength, like I find strength in what I shared?
What I find out at the end of the day when I'm in my darkest days is that if I want to be a role model for people that I really love, let's say my siblings, I need to be strong enough to give them the example of resilience that I want them to have. I don't want them to give up. So I cannot give up on me if I want them to stay strong and not give up on themselves.
Let's talk about two things. Survival mode, right? Everybody goes into survival mode. I had those days that I shared that I survived. And I had the days that I learned that I could fight. In pain, vomiting, couldn't keep my food down. It wasn't even about how am I going to get to tomorrow. I didn't have time to think about that. It was how am I going to get off the floor today? And so for me now, 18 years later, 15 years after really starting to understand this all, I believe, and I choose to believe every day, that while we're surviving with things, even something we shared off camera, that's active in my life right now. Right now, I'm dealing with it. Not entirely silently, because I have a handful of people that I can share it with, but I'm dealing with it. For a while, it was happening to me and I didn't know, but now that I know, I get to make a decision. And I can combat it. I can do something proactive. I can change my thoughts, change the patterns, change that situation over this one. Some you can't. Autoimmune disease, it's a little bit different, but I can still change how the words that I use. What do you think about survival mode? Do you think that other people can find strength? They could find that fight, that inner light that fills them up so much to give them the strength?
It's a decision that you made when you wake up in the morning, because there are some days that you feel that you're not gonna survive that day. But there's a thing that I do when those days came up, when I feel like day is gonna eat me. And I were like, always like, I'm gonna eat this day. This day is not gonna eat me. So I survive.
Wow.
Going to taking a shower, eating something, doing some makeup, even though I don't use very often, just resetting my mindset in the morning to just stand up and say, no, I own this body and I own this mindset, and I gonna do what I gotta do, and nothing's gonna stop me. I need to survive myself.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, you're a freaking warrior. Someone the other day told me that they're not even on the floor, that they fell through it. The floor fell out. What's some advice or one phrase that you can share, Angie, that you would share with these people that feel like they're on the floor right now, either physically or mentally or emotionally?
You always can, and you will make it through whatever you're dealing, because it's inside of you. Whatever you want to do, you need to beat it, not leave it to beat you. Stand up out of the floor and run out of there.
Yeah. And so for me, it's just find your strength. You can do this. You're not alone. We're with you. There's other people in this world, probably in your circle, in your community, in your neighborhood, maybe even at your work, at your school, at your church, whatever it is, your sports team. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. And find your warriors that will be in your tribe. So for me, it was Kevin and Giovanni. And now it's Kevin's wife, Denise, my sister now, and a couple of my close friends. So, and now Angie. It's now part of my tribe. So find your tribe, talk to people, and just know that whatever you're dealing with, you're not the only one in the world. And you too will get through this. If you're having a bad day, it will pass. If you're having a good day, it will pass. So just know that that's your reality. And you get to choose every single day how much of a fight you put up and how much you allow it to control you.
Tiger, you've been in real estate for a long, long time. Tell me how this has been helping you.
Part of this is my ability to identify with people, to see them, to give them my presence and my heart, and to really be understanding of the situation. You know, real estate's a big deal. It's the biggest, largest purchase transaction, the most money, most people, the biggest money they're ever going to spend in their life. That's a big deal. And it has to be guarded. It has to be taken very serious. So beyond my 18 years experience in real estate, I think how this has helped me is to really understand what people are going through. Just like I talked about with the illnesses, the things that scare us, real estate has a lot of fear as well. It's very emotional. And so for me, I pride myself in removing the emotion as much as I can for our private clients that we get to work with. And I take that responsibility on. Because for me, I've been there, I've done it 18 years. I've done quite a bit of transactions. I've seen most things 5, 6, 10 times. The emotion for me is a little bit easier because this is what I get to do every single day. And I get to help you manage your emotions. So that's one way that I've been able to do that, is been able to really remove their emotion out. But more importantly, with the illness and being on the floor, since that's the context of this pod today, is being able to understand and be in their shoes more, to have that different level of compassion, that empathy, that understanding. And I get phone calls at 10:30 at night. Tiger, I don't know if I can do this. Tiger, I just don't know if this is right. Tiger, my partner, my husband, my wife, my kid, they're making me crazy. I don't know if I can even stay in this relationship. And so because I've been not only through that, but through my darkest days, and I'm here, it allows me to very quickly help them through that moment. So a lot of what I do, it isn't just real estate. Like real estate is not, it's what we get to do, but it's not who we are. This is who we are. But so I can very quickly understand that, recognize where they're at, and I can walk them through the same process that I've walked myself through. The same way that I got off the floor, I pick them up, I dust them off, and I say, hey, everything's going to be okay. And I'm that guy that I'll say, hey, this deal is for you. This deal is not for you. Don't do this deal, do this deal. I'm that guy. Making money in the transaction doesn't matter to me. It's about the long-term relationships and having that family experience for them. And 90% of my clients call me family. And I call them family as well. Oh, they want to see my parents when they're here. They want to meet my sister. They want to meet my godson. They want to be a part of my life. And the biggest things, like I said, the biggest takeaways that I've been able to add into my real estate business is just how I am as a human, how I see people, how I'm there, how I make them feel seen and heard. Could be 9 people. I have a transaction right now that has 7 people party to the transaction, plus the realtor's wife is the best friend. So we got 9 on one side of the transaction, plus the other side. Doesn't include the professionals, the title company, the attorney. I'm going to have 13, 14 people I have to manage throughout the transaction. But because I've managed so much myself and been in so much pain and thought I was going to die, that becomes really easy to do. And I can say, hey, it's going to be okay. And I know it and I believe it. So that's kind of what I've taken. From your experiences, Angie, that you've dealt with and that you're dealing with today, how do you think that that's made you a better agent? What's something that you've kind of, you got into real estate because of this? What's something that's added value to you as a realtor and that's helped you with your transactions now that you've learned from dealing with this illness, from this autoimmune disease?
I've learned that, and I love this from Real Broker: work hard, be kind, because we are working really hard to bring to our clients the best of the best, but also we learn that everyone is dealing with something. You never know, and being kind is part of this journey, and feeling that you're dealing with people. Relationships is something so personal. At the end of the day, a transaction is something so emotional. Just be kind.
That's why we met, was because of this brokerage. And it really the work hard, be kind philosophy. You mentioned Sharon earlier, how you felt like he saw you. He says, take care of yourself. But that's what this is, right? It's we came together because we found real estate as a way out of this illness, a way out of the fear. How do you work if you can't be on your feet? I was a chef. And at the time I was a GM at a big Mediterranean restaurant. I was doing a lot of stuff with them and kind of partner there. So it's like, how do I do that if I can't eat the food? How do I do that if I can't be on I couldn't even get out of bed. And I didn't know what day. I couldn't be on a schedule. I couldn't be on a schedule when I'm sick. Neither can you. That's where the real estate industry has really brought us together. And it's so wild to think that through all these things in our life, that this is how our paths are going to cross. Not just as realtors doing a deal together, which we haven't yet, because like I said, Bonita Springs, Miami, but we will now, but because of a brokerage. That's all about empowerment and collaboration. Oh man. So is there anything that you can tell people at home? And I'm not saying this is the solution for you, but if you want to bounce ideas off of us, we're both very open. Our hearts are open. We're here for you. You're not alone, whatever you're dealing with, wherever you're at in your journey, on the floor, above the floor, walking. If you fall, if you get back to that moment, reach out to one of us. We're doing this to inspire you and to just show you some things that we've done that have helped us through our personal journey. And I hope that you can take some light from this, that we can share some of our love and our passions and our just desire to help others with you. Is there anything that you want to leave everybody with, Angie, as a little closing piece or something you want to add that we haven't talked about yet?
It's not a one day more is one day less. So whatever you're doing in your career, in your life, with your family, friends, relationships, be aware of we're here just for a moment.
Something that hit me really strongly, felt it in my heart recently, was something that I'm dealing with in my life as well. And it was about timing. And I was kind of dealing with something really heavy emotionally, and I thought to myself, what if I knew how much time I had left on this earth? What if I knew? What would I do? Well, if it was like 24 hours or 48 hours, I know exactly what I would do. Everybody I know that I love, well, actually probably less, my family, my loved ones, my immediate group, would like be here, we'd figure it out. What if I had 30 days? If I had 30 days, I would have just enough time to create a legacy project that when I'm gone, other people will not only remember me, but have something to take with them, like this. What if I had 90 days or 6 months? That would be enough time to see my family, my loved ones, create a legacy project, like On the Floor No More, and do something that could start a movement. And I'm okay, by the way, so don't forget on me. But the reason I'm sharing this is because it made me think about time. And you just said it's not one day more, it's one day less. What if we lived our lives knowing that it's finite, our timing, because it is. What if you thought about this at home and you thought about your 30-day, your 90-day, your 6 months? What would you do if you knew that you had 6 months to live only? That's the kind of things that we should all be doing. This is what I would be doing. Angie, you want to share with us what that is for you?
In the worst moments when you're having a lot of pain, you need to also enjoy your pain, because when you feel healthy, when you feel happy, when you feel plenty, you realize and you appreciate and value more those moments when you already go through so many deep pain. So even if you're in pain, embrace it, because when happiness came through, you are going to be able to hug yourself and realize that you are not more on the floor.
Wow. That was big. That was big. Oh. Well, thank you. Hey, thank you for sharing. Thank you for watching. Hope you made it to the end. Um, Give us your comments. I know a lot of you have been on the floor or know someone that has. Tell us about it if you're open to it. If not, you can always send one of us a DM. We'd love to be there for you and to just talk to you about that. Let us know what you think of this episode and if any of this stuff resonated with you or your loved ones. And we love you so much. Keep on going. I pray that today you are not on the floor anymore.
Thank you for watching, and share with us if you feel inspired or if you know someone who's dealing with something like this and you're not alone. Please.